I'd been in the city less than 2 weeks when I saw the ad. 1 night babysitting gig, 400 cash, must be punctual, must be discreet, text only. It was buried in Craigslist's odd job section, wedged between a guy with a van and an ad for snake removal. The kind of listing that should have made me scroll right past. I should have known better. But I was broke. No job, no plan. Just a 22-year-old armed with a psychology degree, a duffel bag, and an excess of misguided optimism. I'd moved here for a fresh start, hoping the anonymity of strangers would feel easier than the weight of my past. So I texted, "Still available?" The reply came instantly. Yes. Be at 57 Wren Hollow Drive by 4:30 p.m. Come alone. No calls, no questions. Blunt. Cold. A little too clinical, like someone daring me to accept. Something about it made the hairs on my neck rise. But $400 for 1 night. That kind of money had a way of dulling my instincts, even when they were screaming. The house sat on the edge of town, where the sidewalks vanished and GPS got fuzzy. The air felt different out there, like the world had thinned. 57 Wren Hollow wasn't falling apart. It was too well kept. Preserved like something meant to be remembered, or something refusing to be forgotten. Tall hedges framed the porch like sentries. The windows were sealed tight behind thick, dark curtains that didn't just block sunlight. They guarded secrets. I knocked. The sound echoed too loudly, sharp against the stillness, as if the house had been waiting for it. A pause hung in the air, thick and unnatural. Before I could raise my hand again, the door creaked open, slow and deliberate, like something on the other side had just made up its mind. A woman answered the door, her age hovering somewhere around mid-40s, though her perfectly preserved features made it impossible to be certain. Her appearance was flawless, almost unnaturally so. Not a strand of hair out of place, not a motion wasted. Every step, every gesture felt rehearsed, like a performance practiced 1,000 times. She looked at me without warmth, her face a smooth mass devoid of emotion. She didn't smile. "You're early," she said. "That's good." She studied me for a moment too long, her eyes scanning like she was checking off a list only she could see. "You've never been here before, have you?" she asked. It didn't sound like small talk, more like confirmation. Then she handed me a crisp typed sheet of paper. Rules for Babysitting Nya. Nya will not speak first. If she does, do not respond. She must be asleep by 9:30 p.m. No later. Never remove her necklace. Do not open the nursery curtains. If someone knocks and asks for her, don't answer, even if they know your name. Do not agree to play the mirror game. If she disappears, check under the crib. Only once. She wore a long black coat. Every aspect of her felt controlled, curated, like she was rehearsing how to be human. "I'll be home by sunrise," she said. Then she bent down, kissed Nya's forehead, whispered something too soft to hear, and left without another word. Nya sat cross-legged on the floor. Long black hair, skin as pale as porcelain. A silver chain with a black stone dangled from her neck. She didn't move. Didn't blink. She looked like a doll, too still, too pristine. I hesitated. Then she spoke. "You're prettier than the last one." Her voice was flat, empty, like she was reading lines she didn't understand. Rule 1. She spoke first. I said nothing. She turned a page in her sketchbook.
Spirals. Endless, overlapping spirals. Beside her sat a white stuffed rabbit. She clutched its paw while she drew.
Time passed in silence. No cartoons, no music, just her, sitting there, watching.
And every time I glanced up, her eyes were already fixed on me.
Not angry, not afraid, just waiting. I watched the clock. 9:30 couldn't come fast enough.
At 9:25, I stood up. All right, Nya. Bedtime. She didn't protest, just walked calmly into the nursery.
The curtains caught my eye. Thick black velvet, heavy, uninviting, tempting.
I wanted to peek. I didn't.
I tucked her in. She held the rabbit tight. As I turned to leave, she whispered, "You forgot to check under the crib." I froze. Rule 7. Only if she disappears. She hadn't. I backed out slowly. 9:40 p.m. The hallway light still glowed. Too late.
I peeked in. Nya sat upright in bed, staring at the curtain. "You're late," she said.
Bunny's eyes glowed red. Then came the sound. A scraping from behind the curtain. I froze. "Nya?"
She didn't move. I stepped closer.
The curtain shuddered. Suddenly, something launched from behind it. A rat, but not a normal one. It was too large, its limbs distorted. Fur tangled like old wire. Its eyes glowed faint blue. It hissed and lunged for my leg. I fell backwards, crashing into the dresser. The rat twitched violently, foaming at the mouth. Its jaws opened wide, too wide. Then, crack! The air itself seemed to split open. The rat stopped mid-lunge, suspended as if time had hiccuped. It hung there twitching slightly, like a puppet whose strings had just snapped. It levitated, then disintegrated into a burst of ash. Nya stood on the bed, eyes glowing faintly. Her hand was raised.
She blinked once, then slipped back under the covers.
Bunny's eyes dimmed. I shut the door behind me, heart pounding in my ears. 10:17 p.m.
Humming. It led me to the bathroom.
She was there, facing the mirror. "Want to play the mirror game?" she asked.
I stood frozen, Rule 6 echoing in my head like a warning bell that wouldn't stop ringing.
"Nope," I said flatly. She walked past me without another word. Her reflection lingered longer than her body. Midnight. Scratching at the front door. Not knocking. Scratching. I peeked. No one there.
Then I heard it.
"Hey, it's me. Open up. I need help." It was my voice. I stepped back. Rule 5. At the end of the hallway, Nya, Bunny in her arms, watching.
1:30 a.m.
A quiet sob from the nursery.
I found her curled beneath the blanket.
"They want me to come with them," she whispered. "Who?" "The ones outside in the glass." "Why?"
No answer.
I stayed beside her until she slept. 3:07 a.m.
I jolted awake, heart hammering in my chest like it had been pulled from a nightmare my mind couldn't remember. The kind of wake-up that makes you feel like something's already wrong, like you were supposed to be afraid before your eyes even opened.
The nursery. Empty. Curtains. Open.
I dropped to the floor, looked under the crib. She was there.
Don't come in. Don't come in. Don't come in, she whispered.
The window slowly creaked open, the sound stretching through the silence like a warning too late. Cold air spilled in, thick and unnatural, carrying with it the scent of earth and ash. The curtain swayed, deliberately, as if something unseen had just crossed the threshold. Then everything fell silent. Not just the air or the room, but silence itself seemed to deepen. It was as though the very concept of sound recoiled, holding back, bracing for whatever horror was about to emerge.
Something poured in. A shadow. Blacker than night. A face with no eyes. Just slits that shifted and swirled.
Then a hand began to form. A cluster of smoke, swirling and tightening like a storm coiling in reverse. Fingers emerged slowly, unfurling from the shadow like the legs of a dying spider, each one too long and bent at impossible angles. The skin, if it was skin at all, was stretched thin over sharp bones, sickly pale, almost translucent and twitching with unnatural spasms. It dragged itself forward across the floor, etching scorched trails into the wood with each claw-tip touch. Its fingers dragged across the floor, leaving trails of scorched wood.
Bunny's eyes flared red. The rabbit twitched, then rose.
Its seams tore apart. Cotton burst from within. Limbs stretched and warped. In seconds, Bunny became a 6-foot beast. Part gorilla, part rabbit, part stuffed animal, all wrong. White fur matted with ash. Jagged teeth ripped through its stitched mouth. Its eyes burned like embers. With a roar, Bunny attacked. It grabbed the creature's arm mid-swing. Claw met plush-turned muscle. The shadow reared back, becoming smoke and tendrils wrapping around Bunny. But Bunny didn't stop. It ripped through the dark, slashing like wildfire. Each hit sparked heat and static. The entity screamed, hundreds of voices, all backward.
But it wrapped tighter. Smoke-filled Bunny seams. It staggered.
Then roared, planted its feet, ripped the arm clean off, the limb vanished like mist. The entity burst, like glass underwater.
Silence. Bunny fell, collapsed in a heap. Seconds passed. Then, the fur shrank. Limbs folded. Bunny was a stuffed rabbit again. Eyes dark. Nya stood. Her necklace pulsed. The air in the room. Exhaled.
I stumbled back, the weight of everything hitting me at once. My knees felt weak. My breath caught in my throat, and a cold sweat broke along my spine. My mind screamed for logic, but all I could feel was raw, primal fear. The kind that makes you question reality itself.
What the hell was that? I said. What was that thing? How did Bunny do that? Are you psychic? Nya tilted her head. That happens sometimes. Doesn't it happen to all kids?
No, it doesn't, I said, panic rising. That thing tried to kill us. Your necklace, your eyes. This isn't normal.
You're scared? She asked. Yes. Nya looked down at Bunny with the same detached gaze she wore all night. Unblinking, unreadable. Then slowly turned her eyes back to me, as if calculating whether I was still worth noticing. If you leave now, she said, you won't make it home.
My blood ran cold.
Why not? They know you now. Who? She shrugged. I don't know their names. But they wait, in mirrors and dreams. They always find the ones who run. I stared at her. Stay until my mother gets home. You'll be safe. She returned to bed. I followed, dazed, sat beside her on the floor. "Do you ever get scared?" I asked. She blinked slowly. "Only when people pretend it's not real. The shadows. All of it. The watchers, the mirror things. They're always there." "How long have you seen them?" "Forever," she said. "But Bunny helps, and sometimes people like you show up." "People like me?"
The ones who don't run right away, who try.
I didn't know what to say. She touched my arm. "You did good. Better than most." Then added,
But you should sleep with salt in your pocket, just in case.
I gave a shaky laugh.
Why salt? They don't like that flavor.
We stayed like that until dawn. 2 survivors, though I wasn't sure she saw it that way. I sat beside her, every minute dragging by as I tried to process everything we'd endured. The silence felt loaded, but Nya's expression remained unreadable, almost bored, as if this were routine for her. I couldn't tell what she felt. Maybe nothing. But for me, the quiet was electric, laced with fear, awe, and something like reluctant trust.
As the sun came up, I heard the front door unlock from Nya's room. An ordinary sound that suddenly felt anything but.
Her mother stepped in with a composed calm that felt almost theatrical. Like she'd just returned from a polite errand instead of a night spent away from a battlefield. "Thank you," she said. "Payment's on the counter."
That's it?
She paused.
Once a year. On the equinox. She must be with an ignorant stranger.
I stared at her, my voice tight and edged with disbelief. The question slipped out, sharper than I intended.
You put people in danger. On purpose. If I don't, she said, this town pays the price.
I left and life moved on in strange, uneasy ways, haunted not by what I saw, but by what I understood too late. I think about Nya, about that house, about Bunny, and yes, I always keep salt in my pocket now, just in case.